Hello, thank you very much for joining me in this video. We're going to do another AI demo. This time, we're going to add an additional layer in the AI process. We're going to do this time is we're going to make a recording, a speech recording, so that the AI model will take the text out of it and then make a sentiment analysis on the text and then make some key phrase extraction and bring that information up. Again, that's information that you could use to trigger actions. Here we're just going to display the information. So let's start with some recordings, and I have a few selections of text that I found on the web. For example, we have opinions and reviews on a cell phone carrier, Mint Mobile. I'm gonna I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna make the recording, and then we'll let the AI tell us what's the analysis on this. So let's get started. Thank you for great service at an affordable price. Good reception in really out of the way places. Thank God. Cool to hear from the owner spokesperson, Ryan Reynolds. Always lends a touch of humor to the advertising, and he's the only gimmick. No small print. Now, if he can only land a role to get the that Oscar, see what we get. I had a little trouble reading that. Remember, it's going to extract the text out of the recording, then it's going to post the text to sentiment analysis and so on. So, thank you for a great service at an affordable price, good reception in really out of the way places. Thank God. Cool to hear from the owner spokesperson. Ryan Reynolds always lends a touch of humor to the advertising, and he's the only gimmick, no small print. Now, if he can only land a role to get that Oscar. Key phrases Ryan Reynolds. Okay. Negative, no negativity at all, virtually less than 1%. Neutrality, like 2%. Positive, 97%. And that makes a lot of sense because this was a very positive review about Mint Mobile. Again, nothing against Mint Mobile. We're gonna go with different examples. We're gonna go with a kind of opinion in the middle, and then with a negative review. Okay, so the review in the middle. Okay, I have only one complaint. That is, I think you should have rollover of your data remaining, maybe for purchase of 6 months or more on packages. Okay, let's see what this has to say. With this thing that this is with our model think that this is neutral. Well, the model is a pre-trained model that I'm using, a Lego brick basically. All three models, that is. So let's see what the response is. It's 61% negative, which is close to a 50% if you think about it. 36% neutrality, very little positivity, like 2%. And you could make an argument that 61% negativity, when you have some neutrality, is an opinion that's kind of neutral. Um, no key phrases could be extracted from this. I have only one complaint. That is, I think you should have rollover of your data remaining, maybe for purchase of 6 months or more on packages. Okay, now let's go with a really negative one. Okay, problems from the start. The call center folks were not able to help. Each one wanted to troubleshoot, which got old after the third time. Calling them was terrible. The noise level in the background and the lack of real training for the associates made each call terribly frustrating. Mint uses T-Mobile towers, but isn't part of them. And to get tech, um, I'm gonna leave it there. I think I accidentally took some additional text from another review there. Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna get a response soon from the server, which is doing the analysis. Negative 94%, neutral 5%, positive less than 1%. Okay, problems from the start. The call center folks were not able to help. Each one wanted to troubleshoot, which got old after the third time. Calling them was terrible. The noise level in the background and the lack of real training of the associates made the call terribly frustrating. Mean uses T-Mobile towers, but isn't part of them. And to get tech, and that's where I stop because it has a read more here. Okay, so pretty good, I think. And the point is that you want to extract key phrases in order to trigger actions, right? You want to direct, probably if you have a complaint or something that is recorded, you want to automate the process. You want to start a workflow that will go into the direction of the right department to the right people. So if people could make a statement and we have a good analysis of the different problems. For example, in a call center where people just calls and leave a recording and they state their problem, then it can all be worked out automatically. Of course, a technician is going to have to take care of a problem most likely, or a billing specialist. But the routing of the problem can just simply um, be done automatically, and that's a great thing. Again, now you don't even have to type. Now you just speak, and then we get the text. Now let's do a little review of the code and try to tell how this is made. Okay, remember that we're using Lego bricks here. We're using models that are pre-trained and are available to the public. It's not too important that we use a web interface to capture the video. You can have a mobile app or something like that, and you could still record audio and send that to the server and get it back. But in case you're curious, the front end is basically, well, like any other web page, HTML, JavaScript, some CSS and stuff. And essentially, there is a feature called navigator.media devices, which where is the point where you accept whether or not you want to use your audio device for the website to take some sample some audio, right? And then there is a button, right, where you click, and if a recording is active, then it stops. Okay, and if and it sets the this variable, global variable, to false in order to indicate what's the true status of the recording. Otherwise, we start a new media recorder, and then we push the chunks of data into an array so that we can accrue the bytes that represent the audio, and eventually so that we can load it to the server and trigger the rest of the process. So this is all this is kind of standard, not standard practice nowadays. We want to send that to the server. I was using localhost. I was using my own computer, but eventually I switched to an EC2 instance. By the way, I'm going to post a video on provisioning an EC2 instance to run these models. And eventually you get a response, and based on the response, we assemble the data from the audio. We take the key phrases, we take the sentiment, and we post it like we've seen here. Okay, so we basically the web page in a nutshell takes the recording, sends that to the server, receives a response from the server with evaluations, with the valuations of the text. Okay, so there is a backend, of course, and this was in Python, and we're using Flask for the server. You could use pretty much any other web server out there, any other web application. You can use Django, you can use Pyramid. I chose Flask. It's the simplest. It's my favorite. And we have a simple route. We have the audio as the main page, of course, the one we just looked at. And there's one single function, right? This is just for unit testing, really. But there's one single function, which is upload the audio, and it's a post where we receive the audio file. When we receive the audio file, we create a universal identifier, okay, because we want to name this file in the server, and we want to store it into the audio directory from the path where the Flask application is hosted. Okay, so we save the file as a WAV file, and then we pass the address of the file to a speech to text model. The speech to text model uh, obtains the text, extracts the text out of the audio, and then we pass it to a function that does the sentiment analysis. And then after doing the sentiment analysis, we also run again for the text, but this time to extract the key phrases. Then the arrays the lists that we get back in the sentiment analysis and key phrases, we embed them into a JSON structure, into a dictionary, which later becomes JSON. They're pretty much the same. And then, of course, the text from the audio, we get it from the original extraction that we did, and we return this to the client. So this that we're getting here is this that we got here for each one of these recordings. We got an object that has from audio, and then we have the text, we have the key phrases, and we have the sentiment there. Okay, so coming back, what are these functions then? Well, we they're different Python files, and again, we're using Lego bricks here from the Hugging Face website, which is like the GitHub of AI models, and you can always adjust and fine tune a model. You can always intend to do that. But here I'm basically just getting creative and selecting three random models. Well, not randomly, obviously. There's a purpose here, and so I thought, okay, can I extract the text out of an audio? Yes. Can I do the text analysis for the sentiment? Yes. Can I get the key phrases from a piece of text? Yes. Okay, so I decided just to chain them, right? Now, using the models, there's always a model card in Hugging Face on how to use them, but eventually it all revolves at getting data back from the piece of information that was analyzed, that was evaluated. And for example, this is how you do the sentiment analysis. Most of the work that there is to do on AI right now in order to improve applications, the models are out there and are available. What you need is some training on what models to use, what there is available, how would you combine the different pieces, how would you combine the colors in a palette to come with new tones and things like that. That's what this is about. And it got hosted again into an EC2 instance. All of this is hosted there. Okay, so key takeaways. There is a lot of work to do in regarding of setting up infrastructure to run AI models, right? There have been efforts to make it more democratic, to make it available to more people. However, creating groundbreaking AI applications requires more and more complex models, and those need to be hosted. They need to be hosted in infrastructure that can run them, and there's also a lot of coding to do there. Okay, so there are two aspects, the infrastructure aspect, and then there is the programming aspect. We could also discuss about leveraging already uh, leveraging pre-trained models like the Lego bricks. That's also an aspect of doing AI nowadays. Now I'm going to create an additional video on the story of how we provision this server and what kind of server is necessary. This is an AWS instance, and you're going to be able to see that. But I hope that you enjoyed what you saw today in regards to these AI models. Again, the objective of doing all of this analysis would be to be able to automate actions, to automate workflows based on user input without the user having to go through a form, fill it out, going through 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour wait time to be able to speak to a representative or something like that, so that we can just post that to our so that we can just trigger actions based on natural user input, based on speech, based on diagrams, handmade diagrams, and things like that. And thank you very much for your time today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Take care. Uh, have a good day.